take us back from the beginning. Where did this writing, it seems like you have a real strong passion for writing. Where does the passion start from?
You know, I tell the same story all the time, so it tends to feel a little old. So let me see if I can spice it up somehow. I read Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, and I was 8. Um, that poem blew my mind to the point where I became obsessed with writing poetry. So I was reading Shakespeare, Poe, and just casually the dictionary, like any nerd does, I guess. And that's sort of where the seed was born, was through Poe, through Shakespeare, through my love of words, through the uh, assembly of language, really, and how that moves people. My mom was also a writer, though she, I guess you could say, is a failed writer. Um, but a failed writer makes you a writer nonetheless, so it's just in my blood.
Mm, nice. So you touched on a good topic there, like you said, with that first poem you write, you wrote, and now with poetry being the next passion. So let me ask, how does it end up to video games? How did you get to that? Because I know how the journey is, especially myself. Pivoting, you're changing things, you're still doing your main passion and things that you love, but it just manifests itself in different ways.
Yeah.
So for video games, how did that link come together for you?
Well, yeah, like I said, I was a nerd, so I was playing video games for sure. Me and a good handful of people, like I'd say at max, count them on my hand, probably 4 people, would hang out in my bedroom and play, Street Fighter, would play Call of Duty, Call of Duty 4 more specifically, would play Street Fighter 4, would play Gears of War, Halo, um we and ditching school to play Halo, to play COD. We'd end up, just playing Yu-Gi-Oh. So it all just kind of made sense when I was in college. Um, I was bouncing my major around a few different times, trying to figure out what it was that I wanted to really study. Because at first I thought I wanted to go into psychology. I have a really big interest in philosophy and the nature of the mind and how people think and how they feel. So that was the first path. Bombed my first psych quiz, barely passed the class. I was like, nah, I got to change that. Uh, Went to graphic design and art, didn't really like that because the program sucked at the school. Teachers were absent. Ended up going into computer science because I thought I wanted to be a programmer and design games. Um, did that for 2 years. That was really hard. Then realized, like, oh, well, I've always been writing, and every writing class I've taken, I've passed. I have this love for writing. I was discouraged because family members and friends would say you can't make it as a writer, but that passion was always there. So in college, I changed my major to English. I found my way to a now defunct but volunteer website called 8-Bit Chimp, where we wrote about video games and entertainment, pop culture, anime. From there, yeah, it kind of just took off from there. It just made so much sense because I was already playing video games when I was young and having that passion for words and writing. So even much earlier in my life, realizing that there was a pathway through, IGN, through Game Informer, through GameSpot, because I was reading those magazines, those websites, thinking like that would be cool to do. And lo and behold, yeah, it all congealed.
Now, all the years that it took to get there. So, a lot of freelance work, I take it.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
those out there that are trying to enter now? And this is going to be a two-parter, but we'll start with the first part. Let's say those who are trying to enter the realm of video games as a writer. How important is freelance work? Is there anything you would change, or do you think they have to put in, time and effort into freelance work to move forward?
Hmm. Freelance work is always important because the clips help get you recognition. So if you write for IGN, GameSpot, Kotaku, Polygon, if you can get a clip like that, even Washington Post's launcher vertical or upcomer or something like that, that will boost your credibility as a writer, as a journalist. So the clips are good, right? You want to definitely be building rapport with these more established writers and editors to ensure that you have a relationship and um, a place for your words if you're looking for something a little bit deeper, something a little bit more prestigious. But do I think it's all you need, or do I think it's the only way? No. I think you can definitely make it by writing on your own blog. I don't think it's necessary to have to go the traditional route of, I'm this obscure writer, and then I'm now writing for IGN as a freelancer, and then okay, now I'm a staff writer at Eurogamer or something. Uh, that is the pathway, and that can happen, of course, if those are your goals, but it's not the only way. You can for sure build your credibility, build your clips with solid independent reporting on your own blog.